Exclusive. Prince William protecting Beatrice and Eugenie in Andrew scandal for unexpected reason. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were back in the family fold at King Charles' early Christmas lunch this week, and a royal expert suspects sympathy was on the menu after skipping Kate Middleton's annual carol service. Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie were welcomed with open arms at the royal family's early Christmas party at Buckingham Palace. The sisters, aged 37 and 35, beamed as they arrived together at the gates of the palace for what is one of the royal family's long-standing festive traditions. Their presence at the early Christmas lunch came after what has been an incredibly difficult time for young royals, whose parents Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Sarah Ferguson have been mired in the scandals surrounding their relationships with the late sex offender and trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. But former BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond tells the Mirror she believes King Charles is following in his late mother's footsteps when it comes to his relationship and his support for the young royal sisters. Whatever you think of their parents, Beatrice and Eugenie have not been accused of doing anything wrong, she said. They have had to watch their parents being humiliated and publicly criticized over many years, and yet they have remained close to the rest of the royal family. Their granny, the late Queen, showed them great affection and the King also seems keen to protect them. So I think everyone would have been very welcoming at the palace lunch. I was pleased to see them looking so bright and happy. The topic of Andrew, who was stripped of his royal titles and right to reside at Royal Lodge in October, has dominated much of the media conversation about the royal family in recent months following more revelations about Epstein and increasing pressure on US President Donald Trump to release the government files on the investigation into his crimes. The king's younger brother was also heavily criticized by U.S. legislators for what they called his silence, in response to a request to undertake a transcribed interview about his years-long relationship with Epstein, as part of a probe into the government's handling of the case. He denies all allegations against him, but while it continues to make headlines around the world, Jenny suspects the topic of Andrew and Sarah would not have been up for discussion at the family lunch this week. I imagine the elephant in the room would be any discussion about Andrew and Sarah, she told us. That would just be too awkward for all involved. She also said Prince William, who attended the lunch with Kate, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, would have particular sympathy for what his cousins Beatrice and Eugenie are going through because of his experience with his own parents. He had to endure endless publicity about his parents as he was growing up. Of course, the headlines then were for very different reasons, the disintegration of his parents' marriage. But it was still traumatic for a young boy. You have to feel for these young women. The festive party at the palace on Tuesday is a long-standing tradition for the firm, and usually takes place the week before Christmas Day with around 70 of the monarch's relatives on the guest list. 'Tis a chance for them to celebrate Christmas ahead of December 25th, as not all of them join the main event at Sandringham Fourth morning church service and Christmas dinner. According to Jenny, the big question now is where Beatrice and her husband Edoardo Mappelli Mozzi, and Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank, along with their children, will celebrate the day itself. She added, Christmas is all about family. So where do they go? Do they show loyalty to their parents, and will their parents even be together on Christmas Day? Do they join the rest of the royals at Sandringham? Or do they spend the festivities with their own little families and their in-laws? In the end, Christmas is all about children and making it special for them. So I suspect Beatrice and Eugenie will go wherever they feel their little ones will have the most magical time. Exclusive. Prince Harry's sadness over royal Christmas as he ignores Meghan's advice. A royal expert tells the Mirror why this Christmas could be full of mixed emotions for Prince Harry and why the family have been sending mixed messages amid the royal feud. This Christmas will be the 7th year that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been missing from the royal family festivities as the family feud rumbles on. The younger royal brother, 41, was once a key figure in the Sandringham celebrations, including the traditional walk to the St. Mary Magdalene church service, but has been absent from the family occasion since 2018. According to former BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond, Harry likely has conflicted feelings about the holiday as he will be determined to make it special for his and Meghan's young children, Prince Archie, 6, and Princess Lilibet, 4. He's on record as saying he misses elements of his UK life, including the banter, pub culture, friends, and family gatherings, she said. She continued, and he says he still has a deep love for Britain, so the images of his family making that familiar walk to Sandringham Church might, indeed, pull at his heartstrings. But maybe not for long. When he's enjoying Christmas in the warm Californian sunshine, with his wife, children and mother-in-law, the attraction of Anofen grey, damp Norfolk might fade a little. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are expected to spend the Christmas period in Montecito with Meghan Mum and the children's grandmother, Doria Ragland, who lives a few hours' drive away from their Los Angeles family home. Former Suits actress Meghan, 44, was in full Christmas mode earlier this month with the release of her With Love holiday special on Netflix. Viewers saw her deliver her top festive wrapping and cooking tips, as well as what she called small moments that create the energy you want for the holidays, such as writing handwritten notes for Archie and Lilibet's homemade advent calendar. She also revealed she likes to add personal touches to her Christmas tree, saying, "There's just something about it that in one area in your house you're able to really encapsulate your family story, really feel the passage of time and the different chapters of your life through the ornaments." Her sentiment about the importance of family served as another reminder about just how fractured Harry's relationship is with his own UK relatives, in particular Prince William, who is expected to spend this Christmas Day with Kate and their children with his father at Sandringham. "I imagine that for King Charles there will always be a sadness that both his boys and their children aren't with him at this special time of year. His two daughters-in-law often speak about love, kindness and the importance of family, and yet William and Harry remain as far apart as ever. But I don't imagine Harry would readily swap the relaxed, chilled-out California celebration for the formality of a royal Christmas. So, there might be a moment of nostalgia, but I think Harry will happily throw himself into an American-style family day with his little ones." Elsewhere, Meghan's dad Thomas Markle Sr. is continuing to recover after his emergency limb amputation operation in a Philippines hospital, following conflicting reports about Meghan attempting to make contact with the former TV lighting director after learning of his situation. A spokesperson for the Sussexes confirmed last week that a letter from the Duchess was now safely in Thomas's hands, thanks to the support of reliable and trusted contacts. Exclusive. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Christmas celebrations face disaster. A mid-warning Santa Barbara has been hit by catastrophic weather in the past, including in January 2108 when 23 people were killed in a mudslide that hit Montecito following a fire and heavy rain. Prince Harry and Meghan could face a Christmas washout, with a major storm forecast to hit their neighborhood over the festive period. The Montecito Association issued a warning about the upcoming weather. Tom Embers, understood to include the royal couple, in an email sent out on Friday night. It said, "The National Weather Service is forecasting a major storm for Santa Barbara County that is expected to occur Tuesday, December 23 through Thursday, December 25. The following conditions are possible countywide: flooding in low-lying areas, dangerous flash flooding, strong winds." It added, "Evacuations are not being issued at this time. If you are concerned that this storm may cause unsafe conditions to your home, leave the area before rain starts. Do not wait for an official evacuation notification to leave. Public safety officials are monitoring the incoming storm and will continue to assess if protective actions, such as an evacuation warning, evacuation order, or shelter in place are necessary." The newsletter, signed off by Montecito Association Executive Director Hoden Hyatt, included advice on what to do if the National Weather Service issues a flash flood warning, as well as detailed tips on how to prepare for the expected rain. The area of Santa Barbara has been hit by catastrophic weather in the past, including in January 2108 when 23 people were killed in a mudslide that hit Montecito following a fire and heavy rain. The new warning came just hours after Harry, 41, and Meghan, 44, shared a new family photo of themselves with their children Archie, 6, and Lilibet, 4, alongside a Christmas message. In the image shared on Instagram, Archie was seen hugging his father, while Meghan could be seen bending down and holding hands with Lilibet while standing on a small, wooden bridge in Woodland. A message from Meghan said, "Happy holidays. From our family to yours." The Duke and Duchess also separately released a Christmas card and end-of-year video highlighting charitable endeavors by the Archewell Foundation, which has now changed its name to Archewell Philanthropies. The charity was established in 2020 after the couple stepped down from royal duties and moved to the U.S. Announcing the name change, a spokeswoman for Harry and Meghan said, "This next chapter allows Prince Harry and Meghan, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, to broaden their global philanthropic efforts as a family, with meaningful reach and maximum impact, grounded in the same values, partnerships, and their commitment to show up and do good." Reacting to the news, PR to the stars Maya Riaz told The Mirror, "From a branding perspective, this is a smart and I'd say quite deliberate evolution rather than a reinvention. Moving from foundation to philanthropy signals scale, maturity and longevity. In branding terms, it's a way of future-proofing the name as their work expands beyond individual projects." She added, "I also think there is a reputational message here. Philanthropies feels more global, more institutional and less personal. That can be helpful for Harry and Meghan at this stage, as it shifts the focus away from them as personalities and more towards impact, outcomes and credibility. It positions Archewell as something that could stand on its own, even without their names being front and center. Timing-wise, the 5-year mark matters. In celebrity and public figure branding, 5 years is often when you either quietly fade or consciously level up. This feels like them saying they're in this for the long haul. The biggest takeaway for me is that this is about control of narrative. By reframing the brand now, they are defining the next chapter on their own terms. It's less about legacy to royal titles and more about building a global social impact brand that reflects who they are as a family and as operators in the US and beyond. Exclusive. King Charles' secret letters to Spike Milligan's family seen for the first time. Prince Charles and Spike Milligan were so close that he confided in Spike's son long after his favorite funnyman had died, saying what a really thought of Paul Burrell. They were the most unlikely of bedfellows, the anarchic comedian and the future King of England. Yet Prince Charles and Spike Milligan were so close that he confided in Spike's son long after his favorite funnyman had died. James Milligan first got in touch with Charles to thank him for the floral tribute sent by the prince for his dad's funeral in 2002. Charles wrote to him on August 29, 2003, from Birkhall at Balmoral, confirming that he had received his kind letter. He told James, "I was touched that you should have taken the trouble to tell me what your father really thought. We had a highly amusing correspondence over the years, and he always addressed his letters to me in the most original way. Along with many others, I miss his particular brand of humor enormously. They don't make people like your father anymore." Sadly, James, 49, a marketing expert, was trying his hand at writing for the first time. He has just had his first book of poems published in time for Christmas. Charles encouraged his creative efforts, and mentions his love of the novel written by Spike, Cocoon, adding, "I do hope your writing goes well and you can keep the family tradition going. By the way, I discovered the other day from the Goon Show Appreciation Society that there was a film of Cocoon. I got hold of it and enjoyed it hugely. All those Irish actors were a guinea a minute. My kindest wishes to you." It was signed "Yours most sincerely, Charles." The letter had some words underlined by the future king, and addressed Dear James in his own handwriting before some of the typed words were underlined by him. It became a pattern down the years, with letters sent by either Charles or his personnel staff from 2002 to February this year. The most revealing royal note was a reply to a letter from James about the Daily Mirror's revelations from the royal butler Paul Burrell. Sent on January 6, 2004, Charles told him, "You have no idea how touched I was by your wonderfully heartening letter the other day." And he confided, "I don't know, have I gone mad or has the whole world gone mad? Perhaps all this perpetual hellishness is like steel being forged in the fire, and at the end of the day, I will become a better, wiser person. Whatever the case, it sure ain't going to get any easier with the media and its insane circulation war, its checkbook journalism and its totally manufactured stories. But, as Sir Winston Churchill used to say, I will keep buggering on. And kind allies like yourself make all the difference. The word all was again underlined, the distinctive style of Charles' missives, and signed, yours most gratefully. James reflected. I wonder, when you marry a future king, how often an ally is prepared to get in touch directly. By a strange quirk of fate, Burrell recalled Spike's night in a bathroom in Highgrove in his memoir, A Royal Duty. Burrell wrote, I don't think either the prince or I will ever forget the visit of the eccentric comedian Spike Milligan. Alarm bells rang when he did not show for breakfast. He hadn't slept a wink in his four-poster bed because, for some inexplicable reason, stretched out on the hard bathroom floor of the Blue Room. Some weeks later he sent a specially made china plaque with written instructions that it be screwed to the bathroom floor. It read, Spike Milligan slept here. Charles found it hilarious. What is clear from the royal correspondence is how much Charles appreciated Spike's friendship. HRH sent congratulations following the birth of James' son Robert, now 21, for his 2005 christening and again in February this year. James wrote a poem dedicated to Charles for his coronation, complete with a caricature of the monarch. The king was touched by the gesture and hoped the book was well received. James was the love child of Spike from a relationship between his mum Margaret Moggan, an artist, who is now 82. Their romance began in 1967, when Spike was 58, and she was almost 30 years his junior. James was born in 1976. Spike was in his 70s when they finally met. James was just 15 years old. The Goons show legend paid for James' education. He confided in his son about Charles, his regular visits to Kensington Palace and other royal residences, with the young Prince William asking him to play piano. They collaborated on environmental projects and shared a love of nature. James told the Mirror. They were really good friends and William would ask Spike to play the Ying Tong song on the piano when they got together. He and Charles would discuss the environment and animal cruelty, and he would not have a bad word said against him. He only had time for people with a good heart. His favorite expression was that he would not spend time with late human beings, people who did not have any passion or compassion left. He used that term for people who were late human beings and people from Lewisham. I am not sure why he had it in for the poor people of Lewisham. He added, there was a real affection between them which comes across in the letters. I think that Charles missed Spike, they had a similar mindset and I am quite proud of that fact. Dad was an activist who challenged the norm. He broke down many boundaries. He was, in the 60s, part of that liberation of people's thinking. He was different in everything that he did. He seemed to take on challenges which perhaps Charles could not. James' own work A Book of Poems for People Under 4 Feet 2 features Hubert Humperbump, Matilda the Python and Clever Emma. They would not be out of place in the irreverent work of the legendary comedian. Spike told James that the future prince had encouraged him in his personal campaign to save a 900-year-old tree known as the Elfin Oak near Hyde Park, first in the 1960s, then again in 1996. The oak stump, designed by Ivor Innes, unveiled in 1930, features fairies and gnomes, was allowed to remain in place, no doubt with the approval of Spike's friend in high places. A Book of Poems for People Under 4 Feet 2 by James Milligan is published by Nightingale Books and available for £9.99 on Amazon. Exclusive. Kate Middleton's Christmas struggle dilemma with George, Charlotte and Louis. The royal family will make one of their most high-profile appearances of the year with their annual Christmas Day walk to church, and the Princess of Wales will be who all the fans will turn out to see. With just days until Christmas, the royal family will be preparing for one of their most high-profile and much-loved outings of the year. On Christmas Day, hundreds of dedicated royal fans will head to Sandringham to try and catch a glimpse of the royals as they head to church on Christmas morning by walking from Sandringham House to St. Mary Magdalene's. And it was clear which member of the family the crowds were there to see last year: the Princess of Wales. Still gradually returning to duty after recovering from cancer treatment, Kate last year was laden with gifts as the crowd clamored to chat to the princess and pass on their best wishes. And even though she has completed many more public engagements, this year, it's likely she will still be the star of the show on Christmas Day. Her outing will come hours after her Together at Christmas Carol service, recorded earlier this month at Westminster Abbey, is shown on ITV, and royal expert Jenny Bond told The Mirror, "Catherine has made the Christmas period uniquely hers. It is the time of year when she steps forward and takes pride of place amongst the working royals. The festive season is always a busy period for the royal family, with special engagements, glamorous events and, of course, family get-togethers all on the cards. And for Kate and her 3 young children Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, this year's Christmas countdown will have been even more special." After a brutal 2024, the Wales family are now enjoying Christmas 2025 in a brand new home, after moving to Forest Lodge from Adelaide Cottage in October. Jenny says that Kate will love nothing more than making Christmas special for her children at their new home, just as her mother Carol did for Kate and her siblings. She said, "Having been brought up in such a happy, cohesive family, Catherine loves making Christmas just as special for her children. I am sure her mother, with her party pieces business, had all sorts of wonderful knick-knacks to decorate the house. In these eco-friendly days, I imagine that Catherine gets the children involved in making more sustainable decorations from materials they have foraged. Of course, this year is going to be extra special because they are in their new home, not, I imagine, for Christmas Day itself. And with the number of shopping days left until Christmas increasingly slipping away, Jenny also believes that William and Kate will have already collected Christmas lists from their children. Of course, George, Charlotte and Louis could be given all their heart's desire when it comes to gift-giving, but Jenny believes Kate will want to be careful. She explained, "Catherine and William have tried not to spoil their children unduly, which can't be easy when you love them to bits and can basically give them anything they want. One thing they most definitely want but getting, however much they beg, is a smartphone." Mind you, that line is going to become increasingly difficult to hold as George enters his teenage years. And on the subject of technology, she added, "Parents across the world will identify with their concerns. It sounds as if William and Catherine might compromise by allowing him a brick phone. And that's very much the way that many schools and parents are heading these days." Jenny continued, "Moving to Forest Lodge and putting down permanent roots must be so exciting, so I am sure that the holiday time they spend there is going to be pretty magical.